Hi, welcome to another episode of Sex in San Francisco. In this show, we talk about sex, we talk about San Francisco, and we bring in new guests which are very interesting, and we talk to them about their lives. So today we have Kay Holmes. Kay, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Kay, you're a librarian.
Yes, I'm a school librarian.
Okay, where were you born?
I was born in Michigan, in
Michigan.
Ypsilanti.
So what's the difference between Michigan and San Francisco?
The weather. So never go to Michigan in the winter, snow this high. Never go in the summer, bugs as big as a car. Spring and fall. Whereas in San Francisco, it's kind of the same all year long. Sometimes windy, sometimes rainy, but always nice.
So Kay, how did you think of moving to San Francisco?
I had moved around a bit and I came down here and I thought I'd stay here for a while. But then I got into the school district as a librarian and I really enjoyed working with the students and I just ended up staying here.
Yeah, but from Michigan, did you finish your high school in Michigan?
I finished high school and college and I worked in Detroit. I worked as an art teacher and I went to the university for graduate school, but I didn't finish there. Then I moved. I was here for a minute. I moved to Hawaii. I loved that. And then I went to Mississippi. And I had a job there. They said, you get a free credit. I said, got to use that free credit. And I went to the program there and became a library, got my master's in library science.
Master's?
Yes.
In library science?
Yes.
Wow, this is the first time I have met somebody who has master's in library sciences.
You got to meet more people.
So, did you also go to New York, you said?
I visited New York. I've been there for conferences.
Yeah. So, how did you end up in San Francisco? You had a sister or somebody here?
I have sisters here. I have two sisters here. Now I have my youngest brother lives in Marin. I have to say, when I was a kid, my dad in the wintertime used to tell us stories and recite poems for us on Sunday night. We'd sit around. And I'm the oldest of 11.
Oldest of 11. How many brothers? How many sisters?
4 sisters, 6 brothers.
4 sisters, 6 brothers?
Yes.
And they are all alive and healthy?
2 are gone.
2 are gone. Brothers or sisters?
2 brothers.
2 brothers are
gone. The brother
gone.
next to me and my youngest brother. Still a crowd scene. So my dad would tell us stories, and he was in the Navy in World War II. And so he would say, oh, Hawaii, we took a barrel and we did the clothes in the seawater on the beach, or we went across the equator, or we were in Central America. And then he said, San Francisco, the hills are beautiful, the trees are beautiful. We'd say, Daddy, take us to California. He said, not this year. But I think he planted the seed in a lot of our heads.
So, like majority of the sisters and brothers, they wanted and landed in San
Everybody's
Francisco.
been out here, and about half of us stayed here.
So you chose to, work as a librarian. So you must have worked with a lot of different kinds of kids over here.
Yes. Well, I've worked in the public schools here in San Francisco, and it's just amazing. The wide range, the wide variety of the kids. There's kids that are recent immigrants. There's kids that have, their family's been here for generations. There's kids that have challenges. When I first started in the schools, there was a lot of gang stuff going on in the 90s. So a lot of different things. But what I really value is the people that I worked with, the support systems. For instance, in the 90s, I was at Mission High School, and they had a wellness center. And it's in the basement. They still have the wellness center there. And so anything a student needed, if they needed help, if they needed somebody to talk to, if they needed a space to, calm down, they could go to the wellness center. And now most of the high schools have wellness centers. And most of the other schools, the middle school and the elementaries, most of them have nurses. So it's wonderful to have that health and wellness support in the schools.
So you have worked with a lot of immigrants.
I would say most of the students I've worked with are first generation or brand new immigrants.
So, do you have any story which you can tell our audience? Some kid which was like, coming from another country, was scared, and how did you help him or her overcome that?
Well, right now I volunteer at a school that's for teen moms. So it's young girls in high school age that are either pregnant or have had their baby. And the school offers a wide range of support systems. But what I do, I go in every week and I work one-on-one with students. And so a lot of times it's just listening. It's just saying, really? What did you do then? Just letting them converse. And most of the students I work with are native Spanish speakers, and they're learning English. And I said, well, you're way smarter than me because I only know English. And then they help me. And we look up on the phone now, here's how to say this word. But I think just having somebody to listen to them is really, really important. And they have very challenging lives in terms of, just imagine going to school, working, most of them are working, having a little one, and then now with the political climate too. And they still come every day and they do their work and they try really hard to do something positive. It's just really, really amazing.
So, one of the things which we talk about in our podcast is having education about sex. You work with these, they're kids,
yeah,
and they have kids.
Right.
So, how hard it could be for a kid to raise another kid,
right,
because they have not experienced their lives themselves.
Exactly.
And they have to take care of this little baby, and they love them. And so, do you think that if we talked more about sex and educated people about it, there might not be a lot of teenage pregnancies?
I think so. I think with the current students that I work with, many of them have not been in school all the time. Maybe they recent immigrants and they weren't in school before. So they haven't had a chance for the different kinds of wellness and health education. But I think the school district has very clear guidelines of, that either a teacher or the nurse can work with the students or work with a small group and give them different kinds of education. But I think it's the more education kids have, the better. And as a librarian, what I find is that sometimes it's books. Sometimes it's just you don't realize it. I have one book that I think you'll love the title of. Like I said, next time I'll bring you an actual copy.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But this is called It's Perfectly Normal.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this book at a middle school, and a parent said, oh, I don't think that's the right kind of book to have. And I said, well, if you don't want your kid to read it, just tell them don't read it. But it's here for all kids. And that's our attitude in the library, is that all kids should have a chance to read whatever we have. We're very careful to find a lot of high quality books and books that are appropriate for the age. But I think sometimes people want to censor things that they're not clear about what they're really about.
Yeah. So, these days they're talking about, oh, everything is going to go online and we don't need books anymore. But when I go to the library or a book is in my hand, it has a certain feeling. There's no substitute to that. So what do you think about that?
Well, I think they're short-sighted, because I think, especially nowadays, there's graphic novels. So more kids, if you could get them started on graphic novels, so that they can move on to print books. Some kids have some other problems about reading, and what you could do is audiobooks. And I found that worked really well with kids that had problems with reading. I'd give them the physical book and have the audio for them to listen to too. And I feel that not only in the school libraries, but also the public library, there's so many wonderful resources. And also for them to meet the authors. So I want to mention one author. His name is Alex Sanchez. And I met him at a speech at the public library he was presenting. So, of course, I went up to him. People from Michigan aren't shy like some of these Californians. And I said, so would you visit my school? And he said, okay. And he came in, his book was Rainbow Boys, and it's about two boys and teenagers that are searching for themselves, and they are attracted to each other. And he told the story of him writing it. He told a little bit about his own life and about himself as a writer. And what I found out afterward, I made all the students write a thank you note. This was high school. One of the boys said, thank you so much. I learned so much. I'll never call anyone fag again.
Wow.
I mean, that's huge.
Yes.
And that was just, he put it in a letter. But I think being able to bring in resources like back in the early 2000s at the school health department, they asked if any of us wanted to get a section of the AIDS quilt. And so I had that at the school. I had it on the tables at the library. The kids could come in and walk around and they could talk about it, but I also had a board where they could write comments. And again, it was an opening for kids, especially here in San Francisco. I think in the early 2000s, people were really aware of what was going on in the AIDS pandemic. And having the quilt and seeing the memories that people had of the people in the quilt, that was really meaningful to the kids. So I think just looking around, as a librarian, you could find resources anywhere. So be careful, because I might ask you to come talk.
So, Kay, you have been living in San Francisco for more than 30 years, would you say?
Oh, yes.
So you had friends who maybe passed because of AIDS and all that?
Yes.
Can you remember any one of them?
Well, when I first moved here, next door to my sisters, the apartment next door to my sisters were this couple, Bill and Paul. And they were just fun, really fun people. And I just enjoyed, and they would tell us about, here's something to do, or here's something fun, or here's a good place to go. We live in the Mission, so it was always mission-related or Castro-related activities. And just fun to be around. And then later, Paul got really, really sick. And we visited him a few times. And during the summer, I was away for a few weeks. I came back and he had passed. It was just terrible. Heartbreaking. And Bill lived many, many years longer. And but he, just a few years ago, hit a rough patch and then passed. But it's hard because it's friends. It's people that you know. It's hard when you read the statistics or you read something in the paper, or you read about a famous person, but when it's a friend, that's when it's really hard. Because, it seems such a waste. And thank goodness for the people that did the research and found the medications and found the resources that would help people. And thank goodness that happened. But it always seems to take so much longer than it should.
Yeah. So what is your favorite restaurant in the Mission?
I don't dare say. I can't say because everybody will be angry that isn't in that restaurant. La Taqueria.
La Taqueria. Yeah. You like their burritos or
yes,
tacos?
Of course, the famous burritos.
I like Pancho Villa also.
I like Pancho Villa too, at Valencia.
That's
yes.
amazing. So you live in the Mission and you take the bus, Muni. What do you think of Muni?
Before COVID, that was the only way I got around.
Yeah.
I never thought anything. I thought it had, this area, the Bay Area has pretty good bus system and transportation system. And what I liked is I could get on a bus, they get on a train, they get on another bus and get, to Santa Clara or San Jose or wherever I was going. And I think it should be more streamlined, but I think it's a pretty good system.
Yeah, and Michigan, remember Michigan? There were no buses. You had to drive.
Well, Detroit had buses.
Detroit.
There was a Greyhound bus that went past our house.
Yeah. Well, I love San Francisco Muni and I take it all the time. Yeah. And then I love the underground Muni.
Yeah.
And it is just so amazing to meet so many different kind of people.
Yes.
and to be able to have conversations with them and try all these different kind of foods in San Francisco and go to all these events. I just
I
love
know.
going to
I
all
know.
these events in the library. And so everybody has to come to San Francisco at least one time in their life. Thank you so much, Kay, and everybody who's watching it.